after you became in charge, you introduced the live version of the reference series. How did it affect the market?
The impact on the market is interesting. We introduced the live series because personally, it's been a really strong belief of mine. Active speakers, as a speaker designer, is wonderful because you get to design the amplifier into the system as well.
Right.
And working with John Stronser from Bel Canto, he had the same passion for active speakers. And so we loved it. To be honest, when we made it, we thought it wouldn't sell. We made it as a project for ourselves. Then we were a little bit surprised. We had the first Vantage Live prototypes we had in our demo facility in Denver. We have every week many dealers, many customers coming in to use that facility to listen to our speakers. In the first month after we had it there, I forget how much, we sold, I don't know, 6 pairs? The most random people would, people who aren't audiophiles would come and listen to the live. It has a very characteristic sound. It's very, that's kind of why we called it live. It feels very alive. So that's when we thought, oh, okay, maybe this is something. Maybe this will actually sell.
So you didn't call it active, but because of that, you called it live? Is that what it is?
We called it live for 2 reasons. First of all, we wanted to differentiate it from an active pair of speakers. See, a normal active pair of speakers, you still need a preamp and you run analog cables to them and they have the amplifier built in. Live, you have a controller, which is a streamer, a preamp, a phono preamp, and it runs these glass optic fiber, these are ST fiber cables to the 2 speakers. So it's a complete audio system. So we needed a word that would describe that it's not just active, it's active streaming, it's a complete system. So we went for live. It's a growing part of the market, not just Meridian, Goldman, you look at Focal has just launched a whole series. So, and Bang & Olufsen has been doing very well with the concept. We differentiate, as with most things, by sound quality. We don't think there's another pair of speakers in the market which are anywhere near the sound quality that we offer. And touch wood, so far, customers seem to agree. You asked about the impact to the market. The interesting thing is, for a lot of our traditional dealers, live doesn't fit with their customer base. Because their customer base is traditional audiophiles, like you, like me. I enjoy trying a new pair of speaker cables. How does it impact? You're playing with the system is part of what I enjoy.
Tinkering is really important.
And it's fun. And from the perspective of the dealer, it's revenue. It's an important thing. So for a lot of our dealers, live doesn't make sense. It's not what their customers immediately want. It's not close to their heart. For some of our dealers, though, it makes a huge sense. Who are they? They are dealers who tend to be in cities. They're dealers where you have a lot of customers, maybe in apartments, who are much more a lifestyle customer. So the typical live customer, they accidentally, whether we have them showing in a furniture store or we have them showing at an art gallery, they hear live and they go, it's another world. And they will go to the dealer and just buy the system. And for the dealer, you know, a traditional dealer expects to do a home demo, set things up. So it's a different experience for the dealer as well, because the customer just walks in and says, I want one of those. That's it. Here's my credit card. And even more than that, what we find is that it's a product that then sells itself. Because the lifestyle customer's friends will hear it. And for them, it's like any other purchase. They're not part of this strange world. They don't expect the purchase to be a long and complex process. They just call the dealer. They say, I want a pair of Sonya Lives. How soon can you get them to me? No, we've been very surprised.
How much involvement do you have with the Bel Canto amplifier? Do you design the DSP for that, or?
All of the electronics design, the actual circuit design, the component selection is done by John at Bel Canto, John Stronser. He's incredible. He's a genius. The DSP inside there is entirely designed by us. So we build the DSP crossover on the basis of simulation, our understanding, and our measurement. So when we have a new live product, we'll build the first one, and then in Cambridge, over a period of months of listening, simulating, measuring, testing, the team in Cambridge, principally me, will tune that DSP, the parameters there to make it exactly what we want. And also, very importantly, to make it sound like a YG. It's very important that a live pair of speakers sound like a YG pair of speakers.
How does a bel canto amp helps with that?
They're fantastic amplifiers. John and his team, they've managed something incredible. Working with Class D amplifier modules, which they modify in-house. They've brought the Class D amplifiers that we end up using have incredibly high damping factors. Their output impedance at the bass end is minute. So their control over bass drivers is incredible. At the same time, they marry that with not just very good measured performance, but this silkiness. The mid-range of those amplifier modules always reminds me of single-ended triodes. It has this thing in the mid-range that I love. And I know from measurement what it is. It's amazing. And the good thing, it's the perfect collaboration. John and I like the same things.
How did you choose an actual bel canto?
First of all, I've known John for a long time. I've liked bel canto amplifiers for a long time personally. I've used them for lots of my audio systems.
Really? Yeah.
We kind of came together. It's relatively rare. I came at this with a real passion for active speakers. Because it lets, inside the Vantage Live, Sonia Live, XX Live, every component is designed to work perfectly together. It's like it's as close to perfection as we can get because it's tuned for exactly that. And as a designer, that's great. You get control over everything. There aren't that many amplifier manufacturers who are excited about that. Just the same way as there aren't many speaker manufacturers who are excited about that. Many passive speaker manufacturers, their designer would be like, no, I don't want to do active. I like passive speakers. Many amplifier manufacturers would be, no, we make amplifiers. Why would we want? What was great with John, not only did I know him, not only were we good friends, not only did we like the same qualities, but when I first spoke about this project to him, he was wildly excited.
Really? Wow.
So it couldn't have been better. It's really, really good.
How important is the DSP in future speakers and so on?
As an approach, I think every 99.9% of the sound, that musical sound, that an average first world listener hears now is through DSPs. Your telephone is DSP, your television is DSP. So DSPs are an inevitable part of how we listen to music. It's very easy to make a DSP system sound terrible. It's also entirely possible to make a DSP sound great if you know what you're doing with it. It's very difficult to predict in our sector how things will evolve because our sector has so much fundamental belief. So there are people who are like, no, I hate DSP. It's the same as Class D amplifiers. I hate Class D. It's nothing to do, my argument to them, it's nothing to do with Class D. It's like anything else. There are good amplifiers and there are bad amplifiers. You can have a terrible sounding Class A amplifier. It's to do with, for that technology, doing the very best with it. I think that for people who are lifestyle listeners who want to have a simpler audio system, we're going to head more and more towards DSP systems and probably Class D amplification because it's energy efficient. It works really well. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they're 25 years from now, there's just as big an audiophile community who doesn't believe in it, who has the same the same sets of discrete components which are doing everything in analog domain. So, but that's a difficult thing to predict.
Do you have live at home?
Yes, yes, I do. For me, the best thing about the live system for me is it's incredibly engaging and beautiful sound quality, and at any instant it's there. If I'm walking from my kitchen to the office and I feel like listening to a track, or a friend of mine mentions, you have to hear this, I go into my listening room. That moment, it's perfect. I can leave the live speakers turned on. They use almost no power. It's very energy efficient. I don't feel bad for the environment. I don't have to deal with a hot room.
It's because it's using Class D amplifiers.
Class D amplifiers. And the moment I start playing, it's one of the best audio systems in the world. And that's great. Now, I know that that's kind of contrary, like a lot of hobbies. Being an audiophile, this part of it seems to associate conceptually with it has to be hard work. You should have valves in there. It should need to warm up. You should have. It's great because there's none of that. It's so easy, and I wouldn't be happy with it if the sound quality wasn't so good. So yes, for me, I think last year I was testing some live speakers in my house, and I suddenly realized I was listening to more music. Because with my previous system, if I wanted to listen to something, I had to turn everything on, wait half an hour for it to warm up. I had to there were so many times I ended up just not listening.